Ow!
Wow.
Well, happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween!
Yarg.
How are we doing this evening? Shieldwall.
I've got rum. I'm doing pretty good.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah.
Going to be covering the OG of OGs, Dracula movie. It's going to be great. And hail to the chat. Thanks for being here. I know you guys could all be out there getting candy corn and circus peanuts or something. Pineapple on pizza.
Ugh.
Candy
Why would
corn.
you even say that blasphemous thing? Ugh.
Pineapple on pizza is goat. Sorry.
Yep, exactly.
No!
And if it was the 1970s, you could be getting candy cigarettes with your when you go.
We got those in the 80s too.
You cut the strings to my heart. How could you?
Sorry. Not sorry though, because it's fucking delicious. Oh,
You are
it's
Canadian.
delicious.
So
Sorry.
That is true. She's Canadian, so all is forgiven.
Mando,
Old Canada.
what's up?
Sup? I'm a pirate. Arg. I'm excited to. I actually enjoyed watching this Dracula movie. I've seen a few Dracula movies, and I forgot that this one was better than most. And I know other people don't have this opinion, but I enjoyed the latest Last Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Yes, I know a lot of people hated it. I enjoyed it.
That's Voyage of the Dawn Treader. That's what?
I like horror movies, and it was a horror movie I could sit through,
No,
so
no,
I
no,
enjoyed
no.
it.
Voyage of the Dawn Treader is Narnia.
You mean Voyage of the Demeter?
Demeter, yes. Lord have mercy.
Aslan
I read
versus
a lot
Dracula
of
is
Narnia,
not
too.
a thing yet.
It
Yeah,
will be
Last
now.
Voyage of
It will be
Demeter.
one
My
day.
bad. They both start with D. I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me, though.
I thought that movie started off really well, but I think it lost it and became just kind of like your stereotypical cookie cutter horror movie, like monster horror movie, and that's where it lost me, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Did it have a bunch
kind of-
of jump scares?
Pardon?
Did it have a bunch of jump scares?
It
Yeah.
tried to, but they weren't. Again, it's so cookie cutter that you could predict everything that was going to happen.
Yes, I think that's why I liked it, because I generally don't like horror stuff, and I was like, oh,
Makes sense then.
going to happen.
I can usually
Like-
guess how the movie's going to be if they show the monster in the trailer.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, eh.
I have a
It was the trailer too. I was like, oh, I got some alien vibes going on here. And then it shows the monster. It's like, well, that's gone.
yeah.
They marketed it I remember the director saying too, it was like alien on a boat. So I was like, okay, this will actually be pretty decent then. And I'm like, where the F did you get alien on a boat, my guy? You are stroking your own ego so hard by trying to pitch this movie as that. Nowhere
Right.
near. Nowhere
They'd even
near.
have people in panties running around.
No, none of that. No flat
Cats.
butts.
Boo!
No self-destruct sequence.
No sexually charged non-human person looking to implant in individuals.
Yeah, no. None of that.
Hey, Bex.
I didn't bother with Last Voyage of the Demeter because they measure in Demeters instead of yards.
You're going to a very dark place for that one, my friend.
Hey, Vex, welcome back.
It's good to be back and for such a good movie as well. Like, it's been a while since I watched this. So I'm going to be honest. I rewatched this 3 times in the last 24 hours. The first time I fell asleep because I was half asleep. Then the second time it was right before work and I was multitasking, unfortunately. And then I rewatched it or as much as I could right before then because I haven't been able to not be distracted and rewatch this film, unfortunately. So, but it's a good. I found some interesting trivia too. I think since the last time I saw this, I never really noticed the sets, everything that goes into the costume design, just little instances that I didn't catch as a teenager when I saw this. So, yeah, happy to go through this. And also, I'm running really high on adrenaline thanks to the Gourd King on Twitter. really high.
Speaking of Gourd, what's up?
Oh, hello.
How are you doing?
Well, I feel delicate, annoyed, and ugly. Oh, that's an IT crowd reference. But I'm good. How are you all doing?
Good. I can understand why you'd be depressed tonight because of all the pumpkin slaughter.
It is. It's a tough night. It is a tough.
Just
night.
think of it as your day, bro. This is your day to shine.
No. This is. I mean, this is the day where they think we're shining because they
Where
put
they
candles
put
in us.
candles in the
They hollowed
inside
us
of
out.
your
Yeah.
hollowed
Stuck
out
candles in us.
skulls.
It is a morbid day.
All of your assets are on display, my friend.
It is. It's humiliating most of the time. But the day of reckoning is soon.
Well, the good news is there will be plenty of pies made with your
No.
innards to be
No.
enjoyed in the next month.
With or without cream.
Oh gosh.
Sorry. I can't swear, so I gotta make dirty jokes instead.
There's nothing dirty about whipped cream on pumpkin pie. It's delicious.
Wasn't the type of cream I was talking about, but sure,
Okay,
we'll go
then.
with that, Shieldwall.
I was.
Is it not enough you devour our corpses? You have to desecrate them.
Hey, Jacob, should we
Can't
switch over to
see,
your
but I
OnlyFans
just
channel
face-palmed.
now? Is that-
What?
Should we switch over to your OnlyFans channel now for the topic of conversation? It's like, geez.
No.
It's
Only
going
pumpkins.
someplace. Yeah.
What's up, Abraham Van Matzing?
I don't know what's up because New Jersey sucks as it usually does. It's like, you know, we'll get into this movie, but we're talking about the voyage of the Dawn Treader, as Mando likes to call it. I personally find
Sorry.
with adaptation, especially something like Dracula, I think it was a book first. Either you adhere fairly closely to it, or you go off the rails on the crazy train. There's no in between. And the reason I didn't like this movie is because it was in between. Like, it was kind of closely to the book with the ship and people dying and all that, but then you get a vampire from the Crazy Train movies. You know what I mean? Like a hideous, misshapen monster, which wasn't Dracula in the book. So,
Yeah.
like,
Let's
if they got
see a
someone who
little
looked like Bela Lugosi or Christopher Lee stalking them on the ship, I would have liked the film a lot more.
What's up, Blair? Good to see you tonight.
Hello, Blair.
B-roll. Hello. I think you're new. Welcome.
Yeah, B-roll.
Hiya, NASA.
Do you need B-roll? We got that B-roll. That's such a good
That little
skit.
black astronaut.
That had me in stitches watching that.
Creative blue collar. What's up, man? Got Adam Gray. Hello. And Beard of Liberty is here in the house.
I'm sorry, Beard. I'm sorry. Hey, at least I'm in costume, okay?
I mean, we're all in costume. We just aren't showing it. There you go.
Sure.
I'm in disguise as a human.
Yeah, you can't see me right now, but I'm sitting on a giant pile of.
I'm not buying it.
What's up, Jay? Sorry, Nos. Sorry, Nos.
They say Nosferatu in this movie. What do you mean?
They
They
do.
do.
At least
They
one.
do.
Yep, they name the dread.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the dread. So, here we go.
Dracula.
So it's an hour and 14, which is a little longer than some of the other movies we reviewed.
They're already slipping into modern filmmaking with this extra 10 minutes.
Although, if Vex did indeed watch this 3 times in a row, that means she only would have had time for Killers of the Flower Moon once.
Oh my God, you're right. Actually, no. 5 minutes to spare. 5 minutes
Yeah.
to spare because that's 3 hours 50 minutes,
Gosh,
and this would have been 3 hours 45. So,
Well, if you
you would
watch
have
this,
missed the credits.
mhm.
if you watch this twice, you could have watched the whole John Wick movie in the same time.
yeah.
So interesting thing about this movie is it was made in 1931. this came out before The Mummy, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there are some actors in here that were in several of the horror movies that came after. There's two of them. One was in The Mummy, and then another one was in The Mummy and Frankenstein.
Mhm.
So they got a lot of work out of this horror genre.
Just think, in 8 years, this movie will be 100 years old.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I have to say also, I love the opening theme to this. It's really, really good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's just because it's a classical music that
Yeah.
I can't remember what it is, but it's used in so many different things.
I knew I recognized it. I
It-
was just like,
but
is
it-
this the
it's-
origin of this piece? Because
Right,
I've
it's
heard it
old.
before.
It's
Yeah.
way older than the movie.
Okay.
I just
I
can't
think
place it.
I think Renfield was a little crazy before he met Dracula.
Well, he was wearing lipstick, so.
So that's a big change from the book, because in the book I think I know why they did it. Like so in the book it's Jonathan Harker who goes to the castle, right?
Mhm.
And there's a whole subplot of his where he goes crazy and winds up in an asylum in like Switzerland or something like that. I don't remember the particular
Mhm.
town. And then Mina goes and gets him out of that. And I guess by putting Renfield there, they wanted to cut that whole plot out so they can make the film 20 minutes shorter. But I'm wondering if, because this is based on a play that they like. There was a play in this Frankenstein. I think one of the other ones all based on plays from the 20s that they got the rights to, and the plays were based on the book, so to speak, right? So
Yeah.
I'm wondering.
Speaking
if
of
they-
plays, I just looked up the opening song to this. It's from Swan Lake.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
Yeah.
that. I just looked it
Wow.
up. It's Swan Lake. That's why it's so good.
Yeah,
It's because it's
Huh.
Swan
Tchaikovsky.
Lake, which is I mean, I guess it was already open source by then, or they paid some hefty ducats to play that music, I guess. But or they were just like, we're Americans, we're gonna steal it.
But
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm wondering if the change with Renfield was something from the play or something they did for the movie. You know what I mean?
Like my understanding, because I was kind of reading some backstory on this movie. So there was Universal originally had plans to do a like straight from the source novel adaptation of this, or do a one-for-one basically adaptation of the novel, but because the Great Depression hit, it cut a lot of their funds. So instead, they acquired the rights to a play, and that's what this movie is based off of. So if the Depression hadn't hit, we might have gotten a different Dracula movie.
Yeah.
I do.
Hooray for the Depression!
I do really like the very intro of this, like this set. Look, it's very, Hungarian or whatever. How the stagecoach is, how the building looks, how everyone's dressed, and everything. So I think that really, you know what I mean? It's not just like an obvious Hollywood set with people wearing modern
Yeah.
clothes.
Yeah,
It
like
feels
with Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Bela Lugosi wanted to play this role. Of all the
Mhm.
horror roles going up, he had focused on being Dracula.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, because of where he was born,
Yeah.
he basically was born in the region. He was perfect to play it.
He also was Dracula in a stage play, I think in 26 or 25.
Yeah,
right
19.
before this.
Yeah, I think it was. Yep.
He might have been in an adaptation of the play that they licensed, so to speak.
Oh, it was a different play. Different.
It was different.
Yeah, because he was a soldier in World War One. He so after he got out, he went to stage acting, and that was one of the bigger stage performances he was in.
He also had to flee Hungary to go to Weimar, Germany, because he was a socialist.
Yep.
When they had a socialist revolution that failed, he had to get out of there.
Mhm.
Yeah. But, I haven't been able to hunt down a copy of that play, of the one this is based on.
Interestingly enough, he was married 5 times, which
Yep.
if anybody has been watching this chain of movies that we've been watching, most of the lead actors and actresses in it have multiple marriages.
Mhm.
Like the lady that plays Mina in this, she was married like 5 times. So
Jeez.
What a
Yeah.
hussy.
So it's pretty
I mean,
great.
during that time, like you had to be very close with your co-star, and like
Well,
Feelings can happen.
you know, I mean, not to go into a total off the air, but I mean, Hollywood screw with these people's lives from when they were children, so them not forming great relationships makes sense. You know.
Kitty.
Well,
I think
Don't insult vampires, Jay. Do not insult
I think
vampires like
at that time, this is kind of going off topic, but World War One had ended. A lot of places were ruled by czars and emperors and stuff. So I think socialism sounded like a really good idea compared to what they had in place beforehand.
The socialist revolutions were all going off like around and at the end of World War One,
right?
In Europe and Asia, so to speak.
So they were only like part socialist. They were so socialist.
Well, they hadn't figured out that it was a failed idea yet, or not as good idea. I guess.
I mean, not to go anyway into the politics of it, but there's basically three camps of socialism, right? There's Marxism, there's like statist socialism, which were the World War II German socialists, and then there's like so like socialism light, where you use a lot of social welfare programs like the West does, and but within those three, there's different categories. Like when the Marxists took over Russia, there was the Red Army, the Green Army, and the White Army. And then after they took over, the Red Army absorbed the Green Army and killed the White Army. But they were only there, the Marxists, because they got kicked out of Germany when Germany had the statist socialists take over Germany. So it's a very convoluted period of the world's history with all these socialists killing each other.
It's very complicated, but needless to say, it drove a lot of change in the world, and Bela Lugosi decided to come to America to kind of get away from all that. I think
he did, yeah.
And we could ask Rome of the Empire because he was there when it happened.
Rome and the Scissor Sisters are together. And I'm a pirate.
What, they didn't cancel Halloween in California?
I think that's probably the one holiday they wouldn't cancel.
But
I don't know. They just created some rule about Skittles, so they don't make certain ingredients now.
Yeah, this guy is funny.
Look at that guy's mustache.
Glorious.
So I was just looking up. So this was all shot in California, basically in Universal Studios. So this is a manufactured set, which is pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, I figured that the entire thing is either on a set or shot at some mansion somewhere.
I see what you did there, Jay Goodwin. Film Actors Guild.
Oh, Matt Damon.
These people are like,
Don't go there. You're going to die, sir. Don't go out there. You're going to die.
I love how he reiterates, like, Dracula? Yeah. Castle Dracula? The castle?
You're going to that Dracula?
Yes.
The castle? Yeah.
Renfield was nothing but not patient.
What's up, R2?
Right. So Renfield is telling these people that when they're riding in the carriage to get here to this place, they're like, "Oh, we're glad we're almost where we need to go because the sun's going down." And he's like, "Oh, well, I got to go up to this pass and meet somebody at midnight." And they were like, "What?" They were like, "Don't go, don't go." They get here, they tell these people. These people are like, "Dude, do not go. You will die." And that's why they're acting all crazy.
He's just crazy.
You're crazy. Not going to make it back. And he doesn't make it back. They were correct. As far as this village is concerned, he's off the face of the earth.
They're like, oh,
right.
Poor guy.
They think he's nuts. So, or he just told them that there's only two genders. So.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is one of the few Dracula adaptations that come to mind where they actually they decide to prime us more with the heavy dialogue, or not even dialogue, but just the townsfolk. There we go. Usually it's just it kind of just cuts to him. Oh, like they look at him kind of weird, and then he continues on his way to Castle Dracula. But instead, there's quite a bit of interaction here instead of just letting kind of the landscape and the music do all of the exposition for us. So
They go out of their way to make it a point to really try to talk him out of going. And
yeah,
he's like, you guys are just all superstitious. And
They
they're-
did in some of the other adaptations. There's like 30 of them, but it's up to like now. But some of them actually do have more with the townsfolk doing dialogue, and some interpret it differently. Because like in the book, even though he had to feed off the townsfolk, he was protective of them because they were his people, so to speak. So they weren't as forthcoming. And this is like, don't go up there, type of thing.
well, right. You got to, like farmers treat their cattle good.
Yeah, like yeah.
It's their livelihood.
Well, that plus there was a noblesse oblige where he would protect his people because they were his people. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
The serf liege kind of social contract.
Yeah.
They're like, that guy's
They're like,
dead.
well,
He did.
that's the dead guy.
So if
As
any
he
of you,
goes off in the carriage.
for those of you who have ever played second edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, when the Ravenloft box set came out, this whole setup of going to Castle Dracula, which was Castle Strahd and D&D, with the carriage and with the townsfolk, it was almost a module
Steven.
on its own.
Hey,
it was
Steven.
yeah.
apparently to get this, because what
is this?
What do you mean?
It's
what
the
is this?
cricket. Is that cricket a vampire?
No,
The cricket crawling
thought it
out
was
of
a
its
bee.
little coffin.
yeah, I mean, it's got its own little coffin, which is kind of funny. I thought, like,
I thought it was kind of
I
fun,
was
but I'm
like-
guessing it's like the animal form of one of the wives or something.
I think
It's the
supposed to
Amber
be-
Heard vampire.
It's supposed to be
Bee.
creepy.
Yeah.
Is what is all.
I found
And
it
then-
for her, guys.
I was like,
Best,
what?
best
Yeah, like
scene
that's
ever.
a bee or something, isn't it?
I thought it was some
No.
sort
Or
of
some
beetle.
Cockroach.
That's
or
like a
something
bee.
weird. Yeah.
Looks like a bee.
Or
Isn't
hornet
it
or something.
like Dracula can change form? Because I haven't read the book in a very long time, so I don't remember it at all.
My
but he can
understanding
change
is it's just
forms.
that.
Oh well, no, he can change forms, but also his wives have the ability to change form as well.
Yeah.
Because this is also one of the few adaptations that actually goes out of its way to include the wives. So
Mm.
Drac wives matter.
Yep.
yeah, there they are.
I bet you when he's away, there's lots of scissoring.
Novel Dracula. So novel Dracula can change into anything and change his size and stuff like that.
Apparently for all these spider webs, they just had like basically wet cement just strung everywhere, and they let it dry, and that's what caused the cobweb effect, which I thought was pretty cool.
Did we skip we missed the part where they had like a possum in there?
There was a possum.
I was like,
Yeah.
why is it armadillo? I didn't think armadillos were in
Oh, was that in the scene
Pennsylvania.
already?
I think the
Okay.
armadillos are a little later.
Oh yeah,
There's a
there's
possum.
the possum.
So there's a
I was like,
possum.
that's a possum. What's a possum doing there? I don't know. Do they have
I
possums?
didn't think
in
they were
Hungary?
native to Pennsylvania, but I don't
Yeah.
know what
What?
Pennsylvania's
It's like-
wildlife looks like.
I
They're
mean, it's
just
like,
trying to show us
at this
all
point,
the
you're not playing
possibilities.
dead. Why are you a possum?
I didn't know they had Transylvanian armadillos either.
Yeah, I know. People watching this from Texas were probably like, "What in the world?"
Let's just get some weird animals to
But
put in
I
this
know what
movie.
Vex was trying to say is that they're just putting these animals in here to like make it more creepy atmosphere.
Yeah, like the castle's infested with all sorts of rodent-like
Right,
animals.
because for an average person, an armadillo is really weird.
Well,
It's considered a rodent down south, isn't it?
Well, they're disease-
yeah.
they're disease-bearing animals. Possums and like
Yeah.
armadillos carry leprosy, basically. If you don't know
Mhm.
that.
But people are eating possums.
You shouldn't be
Yeah.
eating
Well,
possums.
if you ever been to West Virginia,
You should, you shouldn't be eating bears, possums, or turtles. I'll put it that way.
really?
That'd be
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
A
love
lot
the,
of relatives that eat snapping turtle.
Yeah.
the coach driver. He just throws the luggage out and takes off.
Oh yeah, he's like
I
later.
am out of here.
Yep. He must have had to pay him a lot of money to get him to even go up there.
Probably.
And that's actually in the Ravenloft module. Like when you ride the thing, he'll throw your possessions off. It's like, yeah.
What's the place in World of Warcraft that's like Ravenloft?
Oh,
Um,
it's in the two expansions ago.
well, anyway, it was like a vampire place. I remember
Yeah.
seeing that, and
Yeah,
it
you fight
reminded me
vampires all
of
left
that
and right.
module that you're talking about.
Yeah. Possums carry other diseases, Jay. They're
They carry a bunch of diseases.
yeah.
And they're ugly. Have you ever seen
The
a
ugly
baby
is the main
possum?
disease they carry.
Yes.
They look exactly the same as the adult.
Yup.
Weird.
Yep.
They're ugly. They're ugly.
I do think this is a little funny that that this is supposed to be a disguise, like he doesn't recognize him after this, and I'm like, I mean, it's clearly him. It just looks kind of funny.
Wait, that was him? I thought that the
Yeah,
the driver was like a different
No,
person.
the driver is
No,
Dracula.
that's
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, remember,
I
it's
ate,
dark.
he ate his last driver. Okay.
He's never seen
Yes.
Dracula before. It's dark out. There's mist all over the place. You know.
Oh man, and he has that mind control stuff, I guess, so it's fine. And he's giving
Yeah.
him the stare.
The stare.
The
The
stare.
Kitty.
You have a very Halloween glow around you, Vex.
He's got the kitty.
My cat is to my right, resting
My
on my
cat
chair.
is over in his bed way over there looking at me like, don't you come over here. I'll bite you.
It's almost like she's inside a pumpkin.
Oh, I missed it. I like too. He's like getting thrown around inside the carriage, and he looks out, and the bat is driving the horses.
I personally, I mean, I think that was just simply an aesthetic choice, obviously, but I was like, that's kind of silly, but okay, that's fine. I mean, it's like, was that really necessary?
You gotta be.
Dracula's
willing-
like, hey, look, no hands.
With
And he
the-
turns into
with
a guy.
Actually, he's more like nobody. Whee! The bat. I love the bat animatronics in this. It's so freaking awesome. Just like
Animatronics, it's
fake.
literally
I
a rubber
think-
bat on a wire.
Yeah, the puppet. Sorry, bat puppet. Sorry. Yeesh.
Evening,
You know
Curtis. Welcome.
They didn't have
But
robots
the bat
back
puppet with
then.
the little, you could see the string whenever it was just, yeah. I
Yes.
still like the
It's
rubber
so
bat.
funny.
Friggin' bats.
He's thinking, why is there a rubber bat driving the coach? What?
It's like, there's a Halloween outlet in Transylvania? What the heck? They're everywhere.
Yeah, and when he comes in here, you see the. So he showed it.
I think this is where the armadillo is.
I think so, yeah.
A little too far. It also shows the three brides in bat form too.
And Renfield's like, dang, this man's a pimp.
Is this do you guys know if this is a to scale set or is part of this just like portraits that they put in the
Yeah,
background?
that's
Yeah,
what
I think it's
yeah.
backdrop.
That's
lot
a
of it's-
portrait.
like the
And-
very ground part is like that, and maybe like the stairs that you go up, but the sides, those are totally like painted in or whatever.
Gotcha. Because
Yeah.
even when they zoom out later on in this scene, like yeah, like even just seeing like these pillars and everything, it's quite like it doesn't look cheap. Like a lot of sets of this kind of caliber would be these days. These look really, really authentic. So
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
If you take the bats out of it, it looks really good.
yeah.
Well, given how they were filming, like I wouldn't be surprised if we saw other films of this time with that castle set reused to some extent. So in other words, you have the big matte paintings or whatever for the background shots, but like this with the stairs, it's probably dust covered and cement covered cobwebs of say maybe something used in another film.
Here's
at
the
time.
armadillos.
Yeah.
Yay.
Here they are. Yeah, there
Are
they
they
are.
native to Transylvania? I thought they were only in like the Americas.
No, armadillos don't live over there
Oh no!
That's what I
no.
thought. Like, why are they in this movie?
because they could just, it's California. You just get a couple of armadillos, bring them down, cook them
And
up,
it was
eat 'em
like
later.
too is like They're thinking like, let's get some weird looking animals.
Right. Exactly. Look at them. I mean, if they could have, they probably would have got like anteaters or something.
I think it's just
Armadillos are
extra. It's an
cute as
extra.
Come
It's
on.
an extra deterrent. Someone comes in and already thinks this might be a vampire castle, and they're like, "Oh no, it's a Texas
I mean, if
vampire
you
castle."
didn't
oh no.
live like in the South back then, I mean, I could see people not knowing what an armadillo is.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
The only way you would know what one of these was is if you were well read or you lived in like Texas.
Well, I wonder if they were playing on if like the people who in the South would know the armadillos that carry leprosy, and leprosy was a big deal back then. So they're trying to find a subtle horror element type of thing, you know?
I mean, look at them. They are kind of. If you saw these things coming out of the hole in the ground or wherever they're coming out of, that would creep you out.
No, you
Well,
I
wrangle
mean,
them.
I'm used
It
to
wouldn't
it
creep
though.
me
When you
out.
live in the South, you see possums and armadillos all the time on the
Right.
side of the road.
There
dead.
are armadillos in Transylvania County in North Carolina.
They're in my yard all the time.
Yeah.
So Vex, you're saying you would just adopt
They look
them?
like a
Yeah,
look like
I
a little football running through the yard.
Right, because there's armadillos in Florida, so I keep telling my husband like we're gonna get ourselves a pet armadillo. He's like, you're fucking insane. Because I also tell him I'm gonna wrangle an alligator, which I'm pretty close to doing that in all honesty. So.
But there are multiple kinds. There's like pink ones too.
So I've seen just like the little brownish gray ones. That's the only one I've seen in Florida.
Mm.
In the wild, at least.
Look at that.
Apparently there's some here in Kentucky, just on the western part of it. So I've never looked at them, but they would have actually been pretty close to where I was born.
So when he comes in here, this whole place is like super run down and dirty.
He clearly hasn't been listening to Jordan Peterson.
Yeah,
This is true.
but I wonder what Renfield was thinking, but he just kind of goes with it.
I think this is where the gay undertones come in, because if
Mhm.
if they really were that strong, then it doesn't matter if he's got a cobweb castle. He's like, oh, look at this fine man with this thick accent coming.
Look at this
along."
guy with this weird stare that keeps staring into my eyes.
Yeah, but
Right.
the gay undertones are offset by the fact that the place is so dirty.
And-
It would be
You know-
much cleaner.
In the book, and presumably Renfield here is being paid a lot of money to do this. Like a lot of money,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which is why he was so eager to get up there, even though he knew that that it would be dangerous. They're telling him don't go, but money talks.
He should have just said, "I'm getting paid a lot of money."
I kept wanting to call him Reinfeld. And make because I just see Seinfeld so often. I was
So,
just like,
This
Reinfeld.
next part is where you get the first inkling that he would get the first inkling that there's not something normal about Count Dracula. He literally just walked through those webs without disturbing them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, I personally right then would have been all right. I'm out of here.
And that is a legit power of Dracula from the novel.
Right. Like, couldn't he turn into mist or something?
He could turn into anything, and he could change his size and shape. There's no limit.
Like he could like fit under doors and stuff. I thought, like under the crack of a door.
He could just walk through them like they're not there. The reason doors stop him because of like threshold laws and stuff like that, not because there's a door there.
Oh, right. He's got to be invited in.
Yeah, invited in, or they can't be like the wolf's bane blocking him and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
Wasn't there something? Was that the where they had if you offered him bread and salt or something like that, he could come on in?
Well, if you offered him,
he would get power over you.
Well, if he came under the laws of hospitality, he had to honor them though.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. But if you just say, "Hey, come on in, Dracula," I mean, he was done. You're done for,
I mean, if you're inviting Dracula into your home anyway, just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you're kind of done.
My goodness.
Yeah.
And
If y'all haven't
really,
seen the
Dracula,
movie-
he's got 3 wives. He needs to get him, crack the whip, and get him cleaning the house. Come on.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, they
they
keep
were
this part of the
way
place
ahead of their
clean,
time.
They should be turning Renfield into a sandwich by now.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
way ahead of their time.
I was
Man,
gonna say,
movie
if
is
you
really
haven't seen the
progressive, isn't it?
Renfield movie, that part where he's got the welcome mat, and that's how Dracula actually gets into his apartment. I thought that was
Yeah.
actually pretty funny.
That was
That
fun.
kinda
Yeah,
funny.
that was cute.
So this
Well,
interior
in-
area is very clean.
in the remake of Fright Night, like it was a horrible remake, but the one really funny part when he wouldn't invite the vampire Jerry Dandridge into his building, right? So
Mhm.
Jerry Dandridge basically blows it up. Like he's like,
Wow.
you won't invite me in. It's like, you know,
It's a bit
Anyway.
extreme.
yeah. Like he goes, how are you gonna get in now? I didn't invite you in. So he's pulling gas pipes out. He's gonna blow the building up. Like,
That's true, Jay. That's true. You know, the ancient Chinese pictogram for trouble was a house with two women underneath the same roof.
He's like, oh yes.
It
He
is
didn't
weird to
blink
think. It
this
is weird to
entire
consider.
movie. Did you guys notice that at all watching this?
What now?
What?
He did. Bela Lugosi doesn't blink at all throughout this entire movie.
I didn't notice that, but yeah, I mean, you see, I mean, his eyes. I mean, I noticed how they obviously had something around his eyes to make them shine a little bit
That's
more. But
that's a very good observation. And if that's really the case, then that
Well,
impresses
it's the
me about
pirate
like
kitty.
the production
I-
value.
I think
Look
they
at that
probably
belly.
just filmed it that way on purpose. I don't, because you can't not blink.
Well, right, but
Yeah.
they went out of their way to make sure that all the shots
Yeah.
contain him not blinking.
Yeah.
The other thing that bothered me about this scene is he never eats his food. I always wanted to see what was under the cloche. What do they have to offer him?
I
Like
mean, this
bugs
is the
or
Great
something, or-
Depression, so they probably couldn't afford to put anything under there.
They're
He
probably
could
like,
have had soup.
"Well, you can't eat that food. We have to use it on the film we're filming right after you leave the set. You know,
well, Renfield eats a little bit of his own blood. So.
He's like, oh.
I mean, I
Or
see
he's
bread and
hungry,
fruit on the table, and he offers them wine, which
Mhm.
I thought was going to be like the wine from Lost Boys, but really isn't.
Okay, how does Dracula control people? Because he doesn't turn Renfield, but Renfield has some vampire sort of tendencies and abilities.
so
He does the same with Mina.
That's why I think it's the wine.
Oh, it 100% is the wine. I just don't recall how he controls people at all.
well, you're
I
talking
think it's just
book, we're
it's
talking
kind of a
movie.
dark gift thing, like they'd have in Interview the Vampire, or like his might be that he can just control people's minds.
Yeah, he's a very powerful psychic, basically, could mind control. There's a scene in
Gotcha.
here where Van Helsing resists him barely.
Mhm.
You remember, like, you have a very
Mhm.
strong will, you know.
Mhm.
Because he basically Dracula can kind of casually mind grape people, you know.
All right. I wouldn't mind if Dracula casually mind graped me. So, come on over, please.
Well, I
It's
mean,
like, hello, sir.
as long as you're not one of his victims, Book Dracula is not the worst guy in the world.
He really isn't.
Even in this movie, he's not. He's
Yeah.
cordial. He interacts with
Polite.
He's got a little Hannibal Lecter to him.
Right. He's well dressed.
people. Yes, he's well dressed. He's obviously rich.
Educated.
Yeah.
Yep,
Mhm.
he's educated. He's mysterious. And judging
And
by
apparently
Vex's-
Mormon.
judging by Vex's reaction to him, which is what was very popular about the movie back then, is women loved this movie. This was like the Interview with a Vampire of its time.
Apparently, Bela Lugosi got more fan mail than Cary Grant did just because of his role in this movie. He was dripping in puss.
Yeah, and he I want to say he was born in 1882. This is
Mhm.
31. So what, he's like in his 50s here almost.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Closing
Yeah.
in.
So imagine what he was
Looking
like
good
when
for
he
a
was younger.
50.
Yeah.
I like this. He's like, you're not gonna have any? He's like, I don't drink wine.
This is
like
50
a
Shades for
long
me right
pause.
now, Jay. Come on.
And I really love Lugosi's body language when he plays the Count.
Right.
I mean, I will always have Christopher Lee as my number one Dracula because horror Dracula is my favorite, one of my favorite movies of all time. But Lugosi does a great job conveying there's something eerie about him. You know, the way he moves his body, almost as if he's like controlling like he's something inside piloting the body. You know what I mean? Like there's an inhuman in there making the body move. That
Yeah,
doesn't
there's
quite
something
correspond
kind of
to it.
almost mechanical about the way he
Yeah.
moves.
Yeah.
And just that There's a famous shot of just the light on his eyes.
His movements are very deliberate.
Mhm.
Yeah. And did we get to my favorite line yet? I don't remember what happens around here, where the creatures of the night.
Yeah, he says that on the
children of the night.
stairway.
Yeah,
The
on the
children of the night,
stairway.
yeah.
That's my favorite line from this whole movie.
I would call
the
that
children
my
of the night.
second favorite line. There's another one later that I like a tad more, but yeah, there's a lot of actually really. So actually, of all the monster movies, easily the most quotable.
Now my kind of one negative for this movie is that Lugosi kind of carries it, like in terms of his performance, because it kind of breaks down plot wise later in the film, but Lugosi carries it through to the end, so to speak. You know,
See, since this was a pre-movie code movie, I was expecting something a little more racy happening with the wives, but kind of like the '92 version. But it either is heavily implied or I don't know. Maybe I missed it, but
Sorry,
didn't
what's
seem like much
movie
happened.
code mean?
So in 1934, they enacted the movie code where they took out a lot of the sex and violence and language, and there were certain like gangster movies really fell off in popularity, drug use, things like grape, that kind of stuff.
yeah, eventually the whole like rated R, rated PG,
Yeah,
rated
basically,
G,
right.
and all that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Prior to the movie code being introduced, there was some like wild stuff going on in the movies, or like if you saw King Kong, like how I can't remember her name. She got captured by King Kong, but they put her up there as her sacrifice. Yeah, she is very underdressed for the time. And they're showing stuff like natives getting squashed by King Kong and stuff like that. Things they wouldn't.
About time. Goodness gracious. All right.
That's it, Adam. The Hayes Code. They hired this guy who Hayes.
King Kong was a conquistador.
Go in and clean everything up.
And notice how the brides are moving like Lugosi does as Dracula.
Right.
Yeah. He's like, go away. He's mine. Ah.
Right. So, but I really like the pre-code movies because they were better for the most part.
I mean, you know,
it kind of implies here that he bites him.
Yeah,
I got that too. Yeah.
They never show the bites, like but yeah, he does consume.
Is that now looks like to make the film more appropriate to a mass audience, or is it more of just like maybe a budget or stylistic choice? Because I figure you'd want to. This is a horror movie. That's something you want to show because that does generate buzz.
If I had to guess, I would say the Hays Code probably was, while it wasn't enacted, they knew it was coming.
Gotcha.
So they probably were doing this in preparation for when that came around.
Yeah, the like spark of the whole thing started back in 1927. It just took it a while for it to actually
kind of a writing on the wall thing.
Right.
Gotcha.
Well, the movement started in 1927. It wasn't enacted until 1934 in like May or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
That also explains why you never see him bite Mina as well. Then actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it is very implied.
I actually read that this is old footage from a silent film that they used for all of these boat shots, and that's why the movements are so jerky and sped up. And that was apparently a very common thing as film was starting to progress, is they take all these silent films and just repurpose the footage.
Yeah, recycle them.
Yeah.
It's sad too
Makes
because
sense.
there's so much of. I was looking at an anthology of like movies for other actors, and it had a list of movies they were in, and it just says film lost, film lost, film lost, film lost. They just don't have copies of it anymore, so they don't really know what it would look like. They just know they were in it from like pay bills and stuff.
It's a real bummer to think what we're missing out, because like we've got some bangers already of silent film that have managed to stick around. So just it makes you wonder what gems just got lost to time, unfortunately.
Probably a lot of them. I mean, if you go back and read, like we were talking, was it Frankenstein or where there was like a 1911 silent film, Frankenstein, that had good reviews, but doesn't exist anymore. And
Well, the Frankenstein movie we reviewed from 1930, whatever the one that's after this, there was a scene with the little girl getting thrown into the lake by Frankenstein. That wasn't. That was actually added after they found it in a storeroom in like 2011 or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember in King Kong the scene with the where the giant insects consume the sailors that they had to remove, and it got lost until they found some parts of it. The spider scene, yeah.
Right.
And that
This is
actually
where we
frightened
get
the audience.
Renfield.
It wasn't because of code there. The audience was like literally extremely afraid of it, so they removed it for that reason, not because it was a code. You know?
Were they like spiders or something?
There was like giant spiders, insects, and they basically ripped the sailors
there's
apart.
so many people have like arachnophobia or whatever.
Pussies.
But so after he's enacted his influence over him, he wants to eat bugs and stuff for
And
their
little lives.
Yeah, and little flies for their blood. Like he's like vampire light or something.
Now he's just a normal Californian.
They don't really explain it in the movie. I mean, in the novel, he's just insane in the asylum, and Dracula takes control of him. Like in the movie, they don't really explain why Renfield. I guess the assumption is that Renfield needs to consume life, but he can't consume like a vampire could yet. I guess that's what we're supposed to assume.
Well, they have a
probably
little
like-
conversation on the boat here about that. Like, sir, like once we get there, like, can I have bodies too? Can I have blood too? So he's been persuaded enough that you can already infer he wants the nightlife.
Yeah.
Also, what he left his wives behind, right?
I guess
No.
No,
I think they're with
brought
him.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
He
Also,
says,
I don't know how.
I just want to bring a few boxes.
I thought he was just bringing. Well, that's what I thought. But then, do we ever see him again? I can't remember.
No, we don't see him again, but it's implied that they're with him.
Oh,
Yeah.
I figure he's just bringing because the dirt of the homeland is a big
Right.
thing
I
in
thought he
Dracula
needed that
lore.
much
That too.
dirt.
I think the coffins have
Hmm.
that in them because, like when I watched it, because I've watched this twice in the last like couple of days, and at first I was like, why are there coffins under the ground where there's no sunlight? But then they brought up the whole thing about the soul from his native land. I was like, oh, okay, so it's probably in the actual coffin. Also, I wonder, if anyone's ever watched Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. There's that performance by David Tennant. I'm pretty certain is inspired by Renfield here.
Oh,
acts-
I agree.
He acts a lot
Yeah.
like him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And
I
of
think
course,
David Tennant
The character,
did a really
obviously,
great job.
Goblet of Fire is, kind of a Renfield to Voldemort. So
Yeah.
So they see him, and he's crazy. Throw him in a nut house.
He's
This is a great shot,
smiling.
actually. I really liked this, like, because the sailors are on the other side saying, like, look at him, he looks mad. I'm just like, yeah, he kind of does, and it looks awesome.
Now he
Right?
And that laugh
Oh.
he's got too.
Now he'd just be given a one-way
mean-
bus ticket to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Well, also, like, I would, if I was one of the sailors, I'd be like, bro, like, every other person on this boat has passed away. Like, what has this poor man seen? You know?
Mhm.
and I'll tell you, the implications of what happened on this boat is pretty dark. Even for a movie from then, just the fact that pretty much everybody on that boat was killed by Dracula. It's like, that's pretty messed up. And I like that they leave that to your imagination.
By the way, the changing to the end of this, like in the novel, they pursue Dracula back to Castle Dracula, and that's where we encounter the wives again, and that's when Van Helsing and Harker kill them. So here, they I guess they're killed by. They go with him and are killed off screen at the end of the film.
My
when he gets
question
killed.
is where is Van Helsing's automatic crossbow in this
Yeah.
movie?
What the heck? How can they leave
Yeah.
that out?
Man. Yeah, this too. This poor girl selling flowers.
I'm not gonna lie. When she first said, what was it like? Flowers for your buttonhole. I heard something else the first couple times. I was like, excuse me, flowers for your what?
No, it was
Flowers for your
Men wore
buttonhole.
flowers in their lapels a lot back then. He's got a great top hat too.
See, I would let if a man like that just had that energy and came onto me like this, I'd run with it, man. I'd run with
Let
it.
him me too. Yeah, it's all good.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, Vex would be me too. Me too.
Me too. He has the power to make you simp.
And he's got his pimp cane.
Yeah.
There we go.
Mhm.
Perfect. So he can whip me into shape
just
if I do
one
need
little
to.
swing of that thing would have
Yes,
been really good.
absolutely. Yes, Dracula. Continue to hit.
He looks like he's going to the opera or something.
I think he is.
He is.
Yeah.
Why he looks like he's going.
It fits.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, duh. I just watched the movie yesterday. Why can't I remember anything about it?
See, that's why I watched it so many times today, because like I get like not only was I distracted, but it's like, man, why can't I fucking retain the sorry, Jacob. Why can't I freaking retain this movie?
Language.
Yeah, it's like he's all planned it all out to buy the place that's next to this house, next to this doctor's house and his daughter.
Now, I didn't make that connection. I just thought he wanted I never really got why he wanted to come to England, other than maybe it's something about the Abbey where he bought. He bought.
But then he gets this girl to introduce him introduce him to the doctor.
Quick question, because it's not really when Renfield goes to Castle Dracula originally, we see him look through the paperwork for Carfax Abbey and all that stuff, but it isn't told or implied as to why he wants to go to England, or did I miss that?
I think it's because Transylvania is becoming more and more barren of people. He's wanting to go somewhere where life is flourishing.
Well, like a new hunting ground, right?
That's the novel
Yeah,
reason.
he needs new hunting grounds. That's kind of how
I don't remember if they say in the movie, but I think that's why in the book he does.
There are so few people that his predations aren't really secret anymore.
Right.
And, that's why all the people are warning Renfield before he goes to the village. Okay, gotcha.
And he straight up mind controlled that worker because he was like, and you'll deliver this message and you'll forget everything I've said once you're done. So he hypnotized her. Oh, right. Okay. And Jay's saying he also wants to join modernity.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, be more modern and stuff. Right around.
Yeah, because I know in like the newer adaptations, like they're pretty explicit with stating that, but I didn't remember seeing because they do veer off quite a bit from the other tales in this one, so I just didn't grasp that as much.
I wonder how hard it is to do hair like that, where it's all wavy but stuck to your head like a helmet.
It's actually not that hard.
You just put enough grease in it, and it'll stay just like that.
Yeah.
No, there were like little rolly things that you could put in your hair, and then you'd spray it, and then
it's a lot easier than it looks, essentially. Yes, and a lot simpler.
Yeah, and that is a pretty risque dress for the time too.
I think there's something on top of it. I think there's something on top of it.
Yeah, it's like a see-through
it's very
kind
sheen
of material. Yeah.
Kind of like my glove.
Which always gets me because it's black and white, but there are so many dresses that I see women of this era wearing that are super shiny, like they're made out of like almost like a metallic material or a silk or something. But you really can't tell because there's no color.
I think you would still tell with quite a few of them. Like there is a nightgown that Mina's wearing later on, and it's just all shiny.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Like I can still see a lot of the luster just because I don't know, I like dresses of this time, so I'll look a little extra hard. But you could like even on whatever Mina's wearing here, you can see that the bodice is a bit more chic as well than the sleeves are. So I think it still comes through nicely the style personally.
Yeah, this guy was in The Mummy. He comes on hard when he talks to women.
Oh, he was like, he was like,
no, you really like me.
Oh,
like,
I just met you. I love you.
Yeah,
Whatever, bro.
yep.
You know?
He's the one that wants to get married to her in like 20 minutes.
Yeah. I still love in that movie how she was all into becoming like Imhotep's bride until she found out she had to become undead. Like she was all for it.
He is arguably more simpy than even the women that Dracula mind controls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
he's
they-
probably of all the characters, he's probably my least favorite.
They
out of
really
the group.
dumbed Harker down in this movie. That's
Yeah,
really, you know.
I was like, I didn't, because I mean, I haven't like fully read the book, but I'm familiar enough to know that he's not that bad of a character in this and in the book.
Well,
But in this,
in
I
the
was
book-
like, yeah, he's kind of annoying in this.
In the book, he's the one who goes to Castle Dracula and spends quite a long time there,
Right.
and is driven borderline insane, and then escapes and winds up in, I forget where the asylum is. Like he wants to say Switzerland, but that's because like Frankenstein and all that. But it's an insane asylum somewhere over there, and then Mina goes and sort of gets him out of the asylum, and then he goes back to England, and that's when he helps Van Helsing start taking out Dracula and all that.
He's who Keanu Reeves plays in the Bram Stoker's Dracula. isn't
Right.
he?
That's exactly. And he's the one that's like spending all that time with the Dracula's wives in that big bed.
Yeah.
So
And doing all that great acting.
they just threw out the him having to be invited in this movie because he just comes right
He
into the
just
room.
kind of shows up. Yeah.
Well, no, because that's, if I remember correctly, that building is where Mina's dad operates the asylum out of. Like it's like a home asylum or something like that in the movie.
Yeah, he lives on the grounds.
Oh, so if it's a
that might
business
be like a
you enter-
loophole or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that like a business loophole? It's not an actual dwelling.
Yeah, it's not really a home.
You could almost argue that he's setting up like almost like his own little complex here.
Remember, Van Helsing has specifically ward the room that Mina is in.
Right, with
Yeah.
the wolf's bane.
Yeah.
Which is weird because there's no talk of garlic whatsoever.
Nope.
Right.
Just the cross is the only one that he fears in this adaptation. Yeah.
So this lady on the gurney, I think she's the flower girl, right?
I
or
thought it
is-
was
I
Lucy.
think so.
Or is that Lucy? Because the one that he just went in and attacked her in the previous scene.
I'm not sure.
That's Lucy.
Okay.
But what happened is, they're going to try to give Lucy's dying from what he did. So, because he converted her, so to speak, he didn't just bite her; he gave her some of his blood. So they're going to try to keep her alive with blood transfusion, but then eventually she dies.
Mhm.
Mm.
Have a good one, Steven.
Bye,
Later,
Steven.
Steven.
You're
Later, Steven.
finishing up your training and stuff.
And in the novel, it's not garlic; it's the flowers from the garlic plant that repel him. The scent of it.
This guy cracks me up.
He's my favorite character
He
in this
cracks
whole
me
movie.
Yeah.
Like, well, aren't you just a little creeper, eating the little bugs? Now you got spiders.
He has a line later in the film, like they're all like that or something like that.
Yeah.
But they're big, fat,
Yeah.
juicy spiders. They're yummy.
It's like something like I even have my suspicions about you, and she's like, yes, and he's like, ugh.
Ugh. Oh my gosh. Am I the only sane person here?
This type of guy shows up in a lot of horror films where he never believes anything is going on and never encounters it. He just every time he walks in, the horror's gone, or it's like and he just
Here's Van
Yeah, he was
Helsing.
my favorite character this whole movie.
Oh, Zax.
Does that mean they're going to?
Are we sure he's approved it?
Yeah.
Made approved.
Mhm.
So he's like telling him, well, we got a vampire here, people. And they're like, oh, that's just superstition.
He says something like, yes, he goes, yesterday's superstition is today's scientific fact or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and the indirect indication in the novel and in this movie is that there's other supernatural stuff that exists,
Mhm.
right? Which we know from all the sequels to these movies where they all cross over. you
Yeah.
know? Yeah. So.
Wait, so are you saying that like Frankenstein and the Mummy are in the same universe?
Yeah, they cross over. There's sequels to all the movies. They all cross over.
They were doing the cinematic universe a long time ago.
Mhm.
These movies made them so much money that the Universal execs were like whatever the show me the money line back then it was, they were screaming it at the guys making make more of them. They're making tons of money. So we got like 7 sequels to the Mummy from Universal, or 6, 3 Draculas, 2 or 3 Dracula sequels, 6 Frankenstein sequels. Then you got Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, and then Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. And all that, and
which is the one where they're looking in the mirror and he's mind controlling him. He's like, shoot the person you see in the mirror, but the way the mirror is set up, he sees the other guy instead of himself.
I think that's Abbott and Costello. Is that Abbott and Costello meet Boris Karloff, or is Abbott and Costello?
I just remember that. I thought it was so funny. He was
it's
like,
either Abbott and Costello.
Man you see in the mirror, and he looks in the mirror, and the way they're standing is when he looks in the mirror, he sees the other guy instead of himself.
Yeah.
And to Renfield here, he may be crazy and is doing the bidding of Dracula, but he still knows it's wrong because he's trying to get away here. He's trying to, make them let him go.
He wants to get away from Mina.
Yeah.
So that he, his behavior doesn't affect her.
Like, this is something I think I would have liked them to adapt a little bit more. Why he has any inclination to, to save Nina's life or anything. It kind of is just there. It's not really something they expound upon.
Well, wasn't he supposed to marry her or something? Or
well, Jonathan Harker, yes. Mina actually goes and saves him in the novel from the asylum.
Well, I'm talking about Renfield.
Oh,
yeah. They don't really say much about it in the movie. It's just
his role in the movie is way like in the novel. He's just an insane guy that Dracula mind controls in the asylum to get stuff done in the asylum. He's not a big character now.
Oh, so he mind controls him after he gets to England.
Yeah, because Renfield only shows up in the asylum in England.
So he was already crazy to start with.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. When he had all those test tubes and stuff on the table, I was thinking one of the people were going to say, "Wow, this is glass grade, man."
I wouldn't insult Dr. Van Helsing with that one personally, but
Helsingborg.
Yeah, Helsingborg.
And then he shows him the wolf's bane, and he just totally flips. Like, you deserve to die.
It's almost like he's got schizophrenia, like where he's different personalities.
The wolfsbane comes from, and this is more like lore, like folklore, not so much the novel. In Central Europe, where the European legends of the vampire that Bram Stoker took it from, basically a vampire happened to a werewolf when it died.
Mm-hmm.
So wolfsbane repulsed werewolves. It repulsed vampires when they were dead too.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Stoker basically took that, and then the legend of the history of Vlad Tepes, and a couple other factors, and made the modern concept of the vampire.
Well, I know that the staking through the heart was you weren't supposed to. It wasn't designed to kill a vampire. Like if you found one walking around, you stake it. What you did was you staked someone when they died in their coffin, so they would not rise.
Correct. You staked. They actually found a grave a few weeks ago. I want to say in northern Central Europe, of a 6-year-old that was staked and beheaded and chained in his grave.
Right. That was the other thing they did. They beheaded you and then they staked you. And the point of the stake was not to go through your heart; it was to pin the body to the grave.
Correct.
So it could not rise. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's why if you remember the movie Life Force, it was through the sternum and not the heart, because it wasn't to stop your heart; it was to pin you to the.
That's another great movie, Life Force.
Yeah. Especially you get the remastered high definition for reviews. Look at that.
Like, I shouldn't have had that third taco.
That Taco Bell hitting hard.
He's imagining hot sauce all over Mina.
Wow.
I feel a burning in my Dracula.
So now she comes downstairs after he's visited her, air quotes, and she's got
Visited.
she's covering her neck, and she's kind of acting funny. Look at her eyes too. Notice how she doesn't blink.
And the good old Van Helsing here is. And I have to say, he's got a killer hairdo there.
He does.
He does, yeah.
He looks like Russian Burgess Meredith.
He's got like a 1920s mohawk almost.
Yeah. It's like a quasi high and tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like old Van Helsing in this movie.
His hair itself is a weapon. It's sharpened to a honed edge.
He could have just dove into Dracula's sternum and killed him.
Yeah.
And then he shows up.
This is probably my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Is this confrontation and how this builds
And the cigarette box too.
Yeah. And look at
everything from like Dracula's appearance to everything with the cigarette box. I'm like, this is so good.
Look at her looking at him too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah.
Master.
Well, in like one of my favorite Dracula films is Dracula 2000. And the dude who plays him, the way they do it, he has an animalistic. Women have an animalistic attraction to him. Like he walks by and every woman looks at him like he's raw meat, so to speak.
Yeah, that toxic female gaze.
Yep.
They all imagine him covered with hot sauce.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They're all just like, wow.
Like, dude,
He has a way with women.
teach us your secrets.
Teach us your ways, Master Dracula. I need the women.
He's like, well, they all like a little biting.
Yes.
I don't like cigarettes.
Huh. Don't you know those things that kill you?
Don't you know that those cause cancer?
How dare you offer me cancer sticks?
Dracula
You know the Surgeon
was
General said
so
they're bad for you.
progressive.
Yeah.
Like, I know what happens when you smoke these things. Mm-mm-mm.
I like this dude. He's like, there's a big dog running across the lawn.
We have a great line
Bork,
before
bork, bork.
he says, for a man who hasn't lived a single lifetime, you're very wise. I was like, I like that
Yes,
line.
I enjoyed that.
Oh, right. When he
that
tells
was
Van
good.
Helsing that.
Yeah.
Right. And then this guy runs out in his golf pants and is like, I didn't realize that he was wearing those kind of pants. I was like, his suit looked good. And then I saw this and I was like, wow, okay.
It's like whenever you're on a video call, it's like,
Yeah.
only the waist up matters.
Yep.
Don't
Dracula
down
didn't even have to
down.
bite his woman. She just had to see that he was wearing full pants.
Yeah, exactly. It was
This
stocking.
This is how you know it was filmed during the Depression. They couldn't afford full pants for any of their leads.
Yeah.
I bet you that was
Hobbit
made out of a
pants.
canvas or like some sort of
I
cloth
mean,
or
that was the
sackcloth or
style,
something.
but that was literally like you wore that golfing or something.
Maybe horse riding with the boots, you know.
Yes, man, don't you understand that Dracula has a way with the women and we know nothing? And this mirror proves we know nothing because he doesn't even need to look at his reflection because he's so amazing and handsome.
And he doesn't wear short pants.
He does not wear the short pants like what you are doing, sir.
I think that was kind of like the active wear back then. You know what I mean?
It might
like,
have been, yeah.
like
Yeah.
when you wore like
No
go out
wonder
and
it
do
was a
stuff.
depression.
Yeah.
Like when women wore basically like full body like suits or dresses swimming. It's like, how swim nothing? Swim dresses.
So Dracula's creeping in the garden again.
Hello, darling. I
couldn't
know that
resist
you
your-
are
your full
engaged,
arms."
but I must suck your blood.
Well, I like what he does with
I
the
want
cloak.
to drink your
He
blood.
puts his arm up and then he like envelops her with it.
Mhm. And she's like, "Oh, Dracula, your pants cover all of your legs."
Well, they did it. They were really
Your
effective.
entire leg is covered by your pants.
Then she starts singing like in Young Frankenstein.
They were really effective at indicating the violence without depicting it in this movie.
Mm.
Good grief, sir. He did not want to look at his own reflection because he's so handsome it would break the mirror on its own. I think you're right, Van Helsing. I think you're right, sir. What is this madman doing around?
Yep, those were the days when your swimming suit included a tie.
Right?
Yeah.
This
like there's
building
a bat-
reminds me of stately Wayne Manor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love
And
how,
there's-
like,
there's the
throughout
bat.
most of this, it's like, how does he keep escaping? Master, Dobby has a sock,
I
master.
wasn't going to say
Well,
anything.
They didn't have this term in the 30s, but it was basically retard strength.
Dobby is a free
Well,
elf.
Obviously,
Master
at
has
this
given
point,
Dobby
they're-
blood.
the guy will come up and he'll talk about it, but Dracula broke him out because the bars on his windows were busted.
I thought they were implying that Renfield did it because Renfield he said that like mad people are strong or something like that. I
Right,
thought they
that's
were-
their excuse for it, but obviously Dracula broke him out.
I thought perhaps he had endowed him with some kind of great strength.
And it's possible that when he drank that like quasi wine or whatever, then this lady,
I love that look on her face. She's like,
yeah, her self-defense mechanism really protects her here, her fight or flight.
yeah.
I can only imagine, like, they were like, we want to show Dracula in a wolf form, so let's get a wolf on the set, and then it mauls some extra, and they're like, we're paying these people too much for this. Let's not show that.
Well, Renfield is
Right.
about to maul an extra right here.
Yeah.
Nom, 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 nom.
he can only Me Too them while they're asleep.
Oh.
Well, that's what I'm saying is she passed out on her own. So
She was asking for.
no, that's not what I meant.
Yeah. And here's Lucy out for a midnight snack of children. It's like, what are the kids doing out in the woods
Now,
at night? Come on.
Exactly. But if I recall correctly, she doesn't kill the kid, right?
She doesn't, but Dracula does in the novel.
Okay.
There are missing
Trick or
children.
treating.
Yeah.
The heck is on that guy's head?
That's a that's a nice
Woof.
bowl cut.
That's the Shemp Howard special.
Yep.
That's Lloyd Christmas on Halloween.
I love this whole scene with the bat too. It's like, don't let it get in your hair.
I actually like the that outdoor furniture she's sitting on. That would actually be nice to have.
Yeah, it would.
Oh.
Yeah.
So though it's England, so wouldn't it rain a lot?
Yeah, but it's probably waterproof cloth.
Hmm.
Like
Plus
canvas
the,
or something.
The help will bring that in when it rains.
Yeah, and there also might be an awning over top of it that we can't see.
Probably.
Gosford Park. That's a good movie.
That is a good movie. I like that movie.
Kind of reminds me of that.
Hello,
They have all these outdoor furniture and stuff.
Like, hello, darling. I know that you and I are destined to be married, but I've been letting another man come into my room. I do not.
I've
Come,
been
Miss
imagining
Kennedy,
hot sauce on
say that
another
word.
man.
What you don't know is there's been another man. Another man? Yes, dear, another man. Not the muffin man.
Yeah, Van Helsing's got some thick glasses on.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Like
Those are
they're
his
so thick,
vampire hunting glasses.
the edges are beveled.
He has the second best outfit after Dracula.
So they've John was going to take her to London to get her away from here, but they're like, no, we set up the bedroom with wolves
Like,
bane
you
everywhere.
idiot. It's like, gosh. Gotta help her here. I did think it was slightly reckless that they, because I guess they don't know for sure that he can mind control everybody, but I think it's been displayed enough to where they should know that he can. So him entrusting the maid to know.
I think the only one who knows what's going on in the movie so far is Van Helsing.
Yeah, but he's the one who kind of was telling the maids, like, hey, you put this up everywhere, kind of keep watch over her. And I'm like, she's going to be susceptible. Granted, like, Dracula gets her basically through a small part of a window. So, but
yeah.
I'm surprised Van Helsing wasn't watching over himself.
With his
like
crossbow.
later on, we realize he has a crucifix in his pockets.
Mm-hmm. He could have armed her with one. Could have given her one.
That is true.
Put
I was
them all
wondering the whole
Everyone-
movie. I was like, why didn't he give her
Everyone
a
put your
crucifix?
crosses on.
You have to believe.
Right?
You have to
Yeah.
believe.
Dang London heathens.
No. If she's already going over to his side, she would, like, because she's being converted, she wouldn't believe.
Well, also she wouldn't take the cross because, like, if
Yeah,
you remember,
then-
like her little fiance, like, has the.
Yeah.
I was talking about the maid.
Oh, okay.
You have to believe the
It
cross will
burns,
protect you
it
from a
burns.
vampire, so you have to believe in vampires.
Oh.
And there he is, creeping.
I broke out yet again. What?
Again.
Like, for some reason, like, my first instinct would be like, is he the one that's messing with this poor lady at night? Like, he keeps breaking out of his room and, like, we don't know where he goes, and this lady's having weird dreams. Like, that would be my first guess, is maybe he's messing with her.
This insane asylum guy with the hat need his own movie.
Yes.
Yeah. Agreed.
I'd watch that.
Yeah.
So he's like talking about rats. He promised me rats if I would help him. Just offer me some T-bone steaks, okay?
Yeah, his little scene here is very creepy, where he's talking about millions of a carpet of red, and it turns out it's all rat eyes.
Yeah. It's like, rats, yummy.
Have you ever had rat stew or ratatouille made by rat
Ratatouille?
with rat?
Yes. That's a good movie until you realize that rats have a very little control over their bladder.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that even if they don't, like, ingest anything, they still carry diseases.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rodents are rodents for a reason.
I think that Ratatouille should have been set like right before the Black Plague.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Perfect.
And then everyone goes to that restaurant, and then it's like, and then a quarter of the population died.
Suddenly, we don't know why, but everyone who ate at this restaurant mysteriously died.
Died suddenly.
Oh, this part.
And then everyone else
This
died.
is the confrontation part.
Yeah.
I'm going to control your mind. No, you're not, because I am stronger than you. Yes, I sense your masculine energy.
Yep, not while I got this haircut. You're not.
Like, my masculine energy will control your masculine energy.
The power of Pride Month will have no sway over me.
You will not let me be scissored.
He's like, you have a strong will, Van
Yeah.
Helsing.
We will not duel
Stronger than my
snakes.
scissoring.
It's like, ah.
Yep.
And it's
like-
not just a cross, it's a crucifix.
Mhm.
And it's silver, probably.
Probably. Ah.
Now, was it later or before this where he touched Mina with the cross?
Yeah, that
Uh,
was when they were on the port. The
Right.
porch.
Okay. Now, nowhere in this movie does a cross burn any of the vampires, right? Like in other movies, you see where
No.
they if
No
they
burning.
touch the cross, it'll literally burn them. Or if you get holy water on them, it'd be like
It
acid
doesn't
and
burn
stuff.
them. It causes pain to touch, but it doesn't burn per se. It's not.
Well, I remember I can't remember which movie it was where it left
in
them.
Fright Night, they do that.
Oh yeah, in future they ran with all this in future movies where the cross like burn them to a shred, and
Although in Near Dark,
the
they
part in
ignore it
Van
completely.
Helsing movie where he pulls the cross out and Dracula grabs it and it like melts.
Mhm.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah. In Near Dark, actually, Bill Paxton's character, his gun has a crucifix on it.
So I'm getting all these vampire movies mixed up then.
I mean, like with werewolf lore, vampire lore, it can if you really look into it, it can start to get a little confusing.
Well, they have a good.
And
They
then-
actually
and then
had a
we
really.
got-
I mean,
then-
this is actually the second time I brought the movie Renfield up, and it's not because that's a great movie, but they actually reference that in the movie where they're not sure at the end how to get rid of Dracula, so they're like, "Let's just try everything." It's a
Yeah.
little confusing.
well, in the Christopher Lee vampire films, right? He's in prison. I think it's a Dracula AD 72 or whatever. He's long since dead. He's been locked away, and all of a sudden, someone bleeds and it drips into his onto his bones inside where he's been entombed, and he starts to regenerate. So, which goes back to talking about how to keep them dead, they had to put the stake through them to pin them down and cut the heads off in the, like the whole like indestructible nature of the vampire, So that all came after this, though. That was all movies that came.
Yeah,
after
I
that.
think this scene coming up is where Van Helsing touches her with the cross,
Well, and then
this is
then
where
you
she-
have
because this is
Then
where
you have,
she's kind of acting like, "Oh no, I'm
Blade.
fine" and everything, and she tries the mind control thing a little bit.
where they say crosses don't do squat.
Right.
But I think also the effect that crucifix has on her is, because she's acting kind of like vampiric here. But then when you touch her with the cross, there's that pain, but then she kind of reverts back to her old self, like, get away from me, get away from me. So
This
it
is
kind of,
that shiny nightgown that she's wearing or whatever that is.
yeah.
That I would like to have seen that in color. Is it gold? Is it silver?
I would imagine it's probably blue.
I was just thinking that. I didn't say it out loud.
Yeah, and
You must be
remember
psychic.
in
Are you mind controlling me? Are you a vampire pirate?
In
Who
the shadow,
knows?
in the shadow, the woman in it is wearing that green shiny dress.
I recall that. That was actually the first episode of your show I ever saw.
Really?
Yep.
Cool. That's a good one. I love this part too. The bat flying over is squeaking, and she's like, "Yes, okay."
And he's just oblivious. Like
what?
She's talking to nothing. Like, wouldn't you think? Also, she lives in an insane asylum. Just normally. Like, I would think that after a while you start to get a little crazy. Just saying. So maybe this is why he doesn't question her when she's talking
love
to
the way
the wall.
He's like, everyone's crazy in here.
I love the way he was swinging at that bat just now. That looked really
It's that
fun.
bat again. Don't let it get in your hair.
They're like,
That is a
Right?
big
swing at it.
That bat is bigger than her head. Like, what is it
Like,
going to do
it's
to
like-
her hair?
Swing at it, but don't hit it, or we're taking it out of your salary.
I
If
mean,
you hit it, we're gonna
a
notice
bat-
it swinging on
if a
strings.
bat that big swooped at me, I wouldn't be acting. Oh, don't let it get in your hair. Like,
Whoa.
where's the
Like
shotgun?
a little fly, right? I think that like I said, my favorite character in all of this, he has a shotgun. He's the only logical person in this entire movie.
I mean, they don't necessarily have. The only bad thing is you can see the crack of the wall there where this is all painted.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, oh, there's the corner of the room they're in.
So she
Look,
tries to
look
do
at
her
our fellow over
mind
there. He's
powers
finally
on-
talking to a woman. I think Dracula.
will
he's been
buy
taking
my
classes with
bathwater.
Dracula. Yes, he has.
She does the crazy eyes really good.
She has
Mhm.
Twitch thought eyes right
Yeah.
there.
Yep. Actually, really nice.
Yeah, she has nice eyes.
Like,
Oh dear.
oh,
This one, I believe,
Nina,
is
don't,
struck
no.
with the scissor disease. I think you're right, Doctor. The scissor disease is inflicted to this
Oh my
one.
God, she's covering him with hot sauce. Quickly, man, stop him.
And then idiot here is like, what are you doing? Give me that.
Don't touch my lovely wife to be
Yeah.
with the cross.
Yep. The simping is real with him.
Yeah, it's not like
I'm
where you need a
sorry,
Gandalf-like
Jed.
character
They
like with
upset-
Denethor. Just hit him on the head. Just get out of the way already.
Right? Like, just the whole time, I'm just like, why is he there? Oh, to be her fiance.
It's like,
Like, bruh.
she was trying to drink his blood so she would become a full vampire.
It's like, dude,
Like,
you
if
realize
she
that she's broken up
Those
with
crazy
you twice
news,
now.
I'd be like, hold on 2 seconds here. Why are you looking at me like I am a steak? Like, I don't enjoy. Well, actually, never mind. I'm just gonna reverse all of
Yeah, this
that.
is where he has this great line here. Like, this line, like, they're all crazy.
Like,
You're all crazy.
they're all crazy.
Yeah.
I've had my doubts about you. And she's like, yes. And he backs away like, oh,
He's like,
my.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
And she's like, what?
I mean, he's got a shotgun, so
He does work in a nut house.
yes.
He reacts the correct way to Twitch thought eyes. He's like, I'm gonna go now.
Like, if I was this maid, nurse, whatever, and I'm like, I think I see a figure through the blind. I'm not gonna go look. I'm gonna be like, I live in a nut house. There are crazy people. I'm gonna go down and find somebody else and get them to help me.
I don't know. The
I'll
way y'all have been
disagree with
talking
you,
about Bella here, I don't know if I believe you. I don't know if
No,
I
there'd
believe
be
if you
more
saw Bella
scissoring than
outside the
this.
window, you'd be like, I don't even know if he'd have to do a whole lot of mind control. You'd be like, okay, you can come in.
According to Vex, he
When-
wouldn't.
Full
Nope,
pants
not
and
at all.
I mean, well, if you can't see it, like, you wouldn't be able to know who it is through the blinds. You just see a figure standing there, like,
But it's all about the energy. He gives off a certain kind of BDE. So
yes, this is true. This is true.
Jay has a point.
He's like,
The woman with the other guy, she had a bonnet on, so she's perfectly safe.
And I really dig how, like, he's gonna kill Renfield, but they don't have to show it.
hmm
yeah.
Like he's gonna choke slam him or break his neck or whatever, hit him, but they just don't show it. And
From the top rope of the stairs,
Yeah.
slam him off there.
you're going for
Wow.
the
Yeah, the board.
You.
The
Good
board
Gourd, he
watching
killed
this
him.
show. I'm sensing a little gayness here. You need to cut that. Cut it.
He's a little too close to his face with his face. We can't have the gays in this scene. I'm sorry. I know that you're upset.
Well,
I know
nowadays it'd be the selling
he's
point of the whole
holding
movie.
him tightly. He's grabbing his back
Are
tightly.
you suggesting
and
that
holding him
Dracula
close to
committed a
his
hate
breast.
crime?
Well, don't you see the intensity in his eyes? He's holding him closely to his breast, looking into his eyes. Desire. Now, what kind of desire? Debatable.
He really wants rats.
Come
Oh,
over
there
here,
he is.
idiot. I think we found him. Yes, I believe we found him, but I should find my fiance. No, you idiot. We need to kill him. I need to find my fiance.
Yeah, I think you're right, Shieldwall. I don't think he brought the brides with him.
Well, no, they're there, but they're just killed off camera.
How? By who?
Van
When you
Helsing
put
goes
the
around
stake in
stakes
his heart.
everyone.
Yeah, Van
It-
Helsing. I've got a little more work to do. I'll catch you kids later.
Yeah, that's that one that
Oh.
fades to black. He's like, yeah, I've got some more stuff to do.
Yeah, work
Yeah.
in parentheses.
Yeah.
We know what he's doing.
Yup. Oh,
Getting it on with 3 vampire
necrophilia.
chicks. That's what he's doing.
I wish, like, I know, like in the later films, they do put the chase back in, even if they didn't go all the way back to Transylvania. I wish they had gotten the sort of stagecoach chase that happened and catching Dracula while the sun hadn't fully set and all that. Like, there was really like a high stakes to it. Not to make a pun, of course, but yeah. But it was an anticlimactic ending to me,
It is.
Yes,
it
a
is
little
very
bit.
abruptly.
All
of them are, too.
all these movies are like that, where it's just like, well, the mummy's dead, end movie.
And we're just done.
There's no standing on a dock longingly. Oh, I must diminish now and go to the west. Fade to black. Oh wait,
Well, no, I mean, the
the
mummy, she basically nuked him because she didn't want to die. She used that power that he gave her, and and Frankenstein, got burned to death. So it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Helsing kills Frankenstein.
He's like, I did not appreciate your classes about getting more ladies. I think you're lying to me. So here is my response.
So a little trivia question: in all these sequels they have to all these Universal horror films,
Mhm.
Lon Chaney as the werewolf dies like 5 times and mysteriously comes back to life in follow-up films.
Yeah.
Like
Somehow Cheney came back.
Lon Chaney Jr., I should say. Yeah. Lon Chaney. By the way, Lon Chaney Sr. was one of the actors considered for this role, but I don't know if he was too sick or he had died by then or whatever. And so Lugosi got it.
Like, go on. I still have ladies to attend to.
He's like, I have to go kill the ladies now.
Those ladies are going to be dropping dead in front of me.
And it just, there she goes. That's
Yeah,
it.
it's a Universal picture, y'all. And then, that's it.
Excessively long by Universal Picture standards back then.
I thought it meant the end of the universe.
I liked this movie a lot compared to some of the other ones
Yeah.
that we saw. I thought it was well paced, well acted, well shot. The costumes were good. I can forgive the rubber bats. I mean, it had armadillos and a possum in it. So,
And a
And some kinda
cockroach
little
coming out of a
cockroach.
coffin.
yeah, and like a weird bee bug thing. Not really sure
Oh,
what
that was Kim Jong-il from
after he dies, it comes out. Yeah,
Team
it was
America.
This is what he was controlled by.
I feel like
Yeah.
we needed
Hello.
He
more.
was ornery.
Yeah, I liked, like I said, I liked the beginning more than the end of the movie. You know what I mean? Like, just felt really, compared to the novels, very anticlimactic.
Yeah, there's some storytelling elements that haven't aged well, like certain things that they probably should have exposited on just a little bit more. But I mean, overall, yeah, this is I'd say after Bride of Frankenstein, this is probably my favorite of the Universal monster movies.
Well, yeah, Lugosi to me carries this movie like a master. There's no.
I mean, I think him and Van Helsing are fantastic.
Yeah, well, Van
Oh.
Helsing in as much of the movie as
Yeah, you're right. I mean, absolutely.
The best sequel to this, by the way, is a manga called Helsing.
I've heard of Helsing. I've heard it's
Yeah.
really good.
Helsing is an awesome manga. And it's complete. It's only 10 issues if you want to read it. And Helsing Ultimate OVA is an awesome adaptation of this.
Oh my god. If anything, if you are having erectile dysfunction issues, just watch Helsing and you'll have a hard pee-pee for weeks.
Okay.
That anime is fucking awesome.
It's
Sorry,
my favorite-
Jacob. It's awesome.
It's my favorite anime of all time.
Yeah, mine too.
Wait, what's this called again?
Helsing.
Helsing.
Well,
So there's 2 versions. There was like an anime that it kind of strayed from the source adaptation,
Yes,
which
Zax, I made
was-
that joke.
which it
well,
was
it
all
didn't
right.
stray.
But
He
then
had- by the
Oh,
time, like, he hadn't finished the manga but they had done like the first 2 episodes, but he hadn't done more than the first couple issues of the manga. So,
gotcha.
because he took 12 years or 15 years to write the manga, like, he put like 1 issue out every like 11 months or some crazy number like that.
Gotcha.
When they did Ultimate, right? he had only one issue left of the manga to do.
Yes.
So yeah,
And they took their time with it because I remember when the OVA episodes were coming out, they were really widely
yeah.
paced out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I think both are solid, but the OVA one, like the animation is better and they really don't hold back
Well,
on the gore.
the
So
voice cast for both English and Japanese were so well received by the original one that they got them all back and for the second one,
mhm.
and they planned the dialogue. You know, a lot of times they do English adaptations of anime. They have to match the animation, so you get like Naruto's
Oh,
Battle
so you
Royale.
get like really
that.
weird,
Well,
like
that's why Naruto
language
said
use.
believe it
Yeah.
for like the first 30 episodes, and then you know for the next 50 or whatever. Like, because they have to match what that bio word he's saying constantly,
Mhm.
which is anyway. So, but they planned it for the Ultimate OVA to match the English and the Japanese dialogue to the animation perfectly from the beginning. So,
Yeah, it's a beautiful manga, beautiful series. Definitely worth checking out.
the fourth, I mean, I am a violence lover, and the fourth episode of Hellsing Ultimate OVA is the most beautifully perfect violent anime episode I've ever seen. It's the one with Rip Van Winkle, Vex.
Sorry?
It's the one with Rip Van Winkle when Alucard comes for her. The fourth
Oh,
yeah.
oh my God! I think
you know,
the following episode is when the invasion on London happens too.
Yeah.
And that one was also just more blood. Oh my God!
Oh, it just escalates from there. But the sort of
Yeah.
the timing of the music to him getting to the aircraft carrier and what he did to her, and it's so perfect. It's just
Now I
so
need to
Aircraft
rewatch
carrier.
it now.
When
God,
is
it's
this
so
set?
good.
I thought this
So
was set
it's
like in
set
the
in it's set in
1800s.
modern day, but there's a lot of characters that you'll see bleed over from like World War One, World War Two,
Ah,
Yeah.
and then they do have some flashback episodes where they visit like the whole Vlad the Impaler origins for Dracula,
yeah.
as
So
opposed to just the Bram Stoker ones.
so
Why would you do this, Gourd? Why would send that to me, please? Can you DM that?
so the, it's a sequel to Dracula the novel, but there's a prequel manga called Hellsing: The Dawn, which takes place in World War II.
Yes, and they released an OVA on that as well. If I
Yeah,
remember, I
yeah.
never saw all of it though.
They did, yeah. And but it's so I mean, I could go. I could talk about it forever. It's like it's just so awesome. You know?
I'm checking my DMs, Gourd. I don't have a picture in it. What's going on?
Oh, hey, Jacob, if you want to give that link I gave before to the comparison of all the Dracula movies to
Yeah,
the novel,
yeah.
if you want to share that.
I can do that.
So what he's giving you is from Cinemassacre. He took all like I want to say 12 or 15 Dracula adaptations and compared them to the novel to see which ones had the closest adherence of plot elements, and so he did a very good job with it. You know.
Yeah, there's the video there in the chat.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to check that out?
You know,
Vex, did you have any trivia?
Was I supposed to prepare trivia?
Oh no, you don't. I was just if you have any.
Oh
You can-
no, like I mean, there was
Okay.
Was it? There was the. I told. Oh my God, I said something. There was the gay thing.
right.
That I
That
know.
that originally Count Dracula was supposed to bite Renfield, but you said the producers sent a letter to the director saying, "Hey, no, you can't show that. That's too gay."
Yeah.
Well,
no, you don't want no homo undertones.
There's
Right.
speculation that Bram Stoker was gay, and then because he wrote protest letters, letters of like to who's the American writer
Walt Whitman.
Good, there you go. Complaining about like protesting about some sort of anti-gay thing that happened back then, and then there's a lot of like I mean, look, yes, I think modern people overread this into it, but there are erotic and homoerotic elements in Dracula, right? The novel, but I think like anything, they overread it, read into it. You know what I mean?
Especially
So,
nowadays,
yeah,
where everything is
yeah.
gender and sexualized and stuff, even when it's really wasn't intended to be.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was. my case in point.
Yeah, it's really hard to place this movie with the others. I can't figure out where to put it, like from good to bad.
I find that some of the better Dracula adaptations, I can't honestly rank them because they all stand really well on their own 2 feet. Like, because they all take a bit of a different focus, right? So, like the 1922 one, or at least the Nosferatu adaptations, they all focus more on Nosferatu and his like his deeper romantic obsession with Mina, right? This one focuses on him just as a superior monster because most of the focus, it's, you don't see the Mina romance as much. It's played in there, but they focus more on how he can control the power he has over other people and even what that power does to people that are what's the word? That feel like that know that it's not safe, right? With Van Helsing. And then you look at oh my god, what's the director? Francis Ford's version of Dracula, and that's just a pure, like, pretty sensuous romance.
He made an art film and really up the romance elements of it, and it's some of the reasons I dislike his adaptation of it a lot.
I actually really like it just because I think he does the romance element right, and Gary Oldman just, quite frankly, carries that film. He's one of my favorite actors. So
Yeah.
Like when I think of the Draculas, I love obviously this one. My number one though is Horror of Dracula, Christopher Lee. Then there's a Frank Langella adaptation from, like, I want to say the 80s. There's a BBC adaptation from the 70s, which is really good. And then there's one with who played him in Jack Palance played Dracula in a movie. You don't know who Jack Palance is? He's a great villain actor.
Yeah, he did a lot of westerns and stuff.
Yeah.
He was in City Slickers.
Yeah, he was in City Slickers. Yeah,
he's one of your top 5 all-time great villain actors.
I think the 1922 Nosferatu one is really creepy, like the way it's shot.
Oh yeah,
the way it looks. That epitomizes. To me, there's nothing sensual about that one. That's just straight horror.
And I love, like I said, I love Dracula 2000. It does add a new element to the story in Dracula 2000, the origin of Dracula. But I like the sort of predatory, animalistic nature they give to him with, in that film, and the sort of vengefulness to it. But that's through the new element.
Right.
To that.
And slightly off topic. Did anybody in RDR2 find the vampire guy in Saint Denis?
I did, yes, and it was awesome.
Yeah, you kill him and you get that weird sacrificial.
That part is cool. I like that.
Yeah, but all the stuff you had to go through just to figure out where he was at, unless you accidentally stumbled upon him, which I think could happen.
Yeah, I did accidentally stumble upon him.
I didn't have a chance to. I followed all the little
the little quests and stuff. But he looks like the old, like the 1922 Nosferatu. Yeah, like ball headed with elf ears and stuff.
Did anyone actually? I thought this was the biggest missed opportunity as far as Nosferatu movies. Did anyone see that Shadow of the Vampire movie from like 2000?
Yeah,
I thought that had a really cool idea, and you had Willem Dafoe playing Nosferatu, and I did not like the movie. I really thought that was a missed opportunity because he's great in the role.
Like them filming Nosferatu?
Yeah, it's about them filming Nosferatu, but him obviously, him being a real vampire. And I'm like, okay, this is a really cool idea, and it's just not a good movie, I don't think. I mean, it's got a great performance from Willem Dafoe in it, so it's worth maybe watching once. But I was like, this could have been so much better.
But that's true of a lot of movies. Like, you could see a movie where like an actor carries a film, for example, and if you take that actor out of it, it's like, yeah.
I mean, as far as vampire movies go, I like the first Blade. I love
the first Blade movie. Yeah.
Near Dark is my favorite vampire movie. Love that movie.
Favorite vampire movie, Fright Night.
The original or the remake?
The original.
The only good thing about the remake was the thing I told you before about how he got around and can't get in.
Gotcha.
The only good thing about that. Like that movie was so laughably bad. Like Oh no, it wasn't even. It was insultingly bad. It was like the same way Rings of Power and Rings of Prime, Wheel of Prime that movie insulted the original Fright Night. That's how much of a mockery it was.
Yeah.
Because the original Fright Night is from the 90s, right?
80s.
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 I
Okay.
think.
Is that the one that has the guy from Full Metal Jacket in it come back as a ghost? He's like,
Not sure.
or I'm thinking of something else. Maybe I'm thinking of Frighteners or something.
I
That
think,
had Michael
I
J.
think that's
Fox in it.
Frightener.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I just found this when I was looking for Henry Cavill Dracula. There was in 2020 there was a Dracula miniseries, like BBC Netflix.
Yeah.
One.
I gave the first episode a shot, and then I think something else released, and I just never went back to it. But I've been meaning to finish that series.
Yeah, BBC is like they used to have a lot of great miniseries. Like in the 70s, Dracula was a BBC miniseries, right? That's what I'm talking about. But their miniseries for the past 5 or 6 years have been really subpar to me. I don't know if it's because of the woke stuff or because of the I think one of my
It's
big
the woke
complaints.
stuff. It's the woke stuff. That new
Yeah.
one
Yeah,
came
it
out
is.
called Bodies, which is like a time travel mystery thing.
Yeah.
And it would be much better if it wasn't full of. I mean, it had a good enough story to where all the stuff they injected in it didn't absolutely destroy it, but it didn't make it better. How about that? It was all right.
Yeah.
I binged it in like 2
Yeah,
days.
that Dracula actually has a Galadriel in it.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I think you're muted, Mando.
Is your microphone muted? Not the software, the hardware. Because I have like 7 different mute buttons on my end, like not just the software one. So it's sometimes you'll see me fumbling with the headset because there's like 2 of them on the headset. You know, it's like
Yeah, they also race swapped a couple characters in that too. Lucy and somebody else.
That's the one with it's Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, right, as Dracula.
A guy named Cleese Bang.
Okay, I'm thinking of a different one then.
Okay.
Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, that one was the Dracula Untold one, wasn't it?
No, that was Luke Evans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I heard that one was terrible.
It's not a good movie, but like just because I like the whole Vlad the Impaler angle, I kind of have a soft spot for it.
Oh, right. That's the one where she commits suicide because she thinks he died in battle, and then she jumps out the cliff.
No, she does jump off a cliff, but she doesn't commit suicide. She gets really depressed because he dies, but then like she learns he's a vampire towards the end of the film, and so she like sacrifices herself sort of while running away from the Ottomans invading, and then he completes his transformation into a vampire by drinking her blood.
It was right, but the impetus for him becoming a vampire or getting his revenge is because she died, right?
No, it was because he wanted like ultimate strength to defeat the Ottomans, and him and some of his like knightsmen or whatever, they had found a vampire lair, and he was the only one that got away. So he goes back and he's like, "I need this power in order to defend my kingdom." And yeah,
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie. I thought it was okay.
Yeah,
it was like great or anything, but it wasn't. It was like 302.
Dang.
How that
full of
movie was
vampires.
Yeah.
So,
Also, what about the
there's
Underworld series of movies?
I liked the Underworld
Yeah,
series.
the first
I
one
love
was
it.
good.
The first
I
one
like
was
the first one.
fine. Yeah.
I have
I-
not seen a single one of those.
I will take Kate Beckinsale in hot sauce any day of the week.
Yeah. But it's actually pretty good. It's got like the werewolves or like
That's my favorite as far as
I
like
like
the
the
done well.
looks of lichens and werewolves. Underworld does it the best, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've never been against watching them. It's one of those series I've just never dove into for whatever reason.
I didn't
Yeah,
mind
this-
the prequel they had too, Rise of the Lycans. I didn't think
That
that
was the
It
third
was
one.
okay.
They were all okay. Like I love the first one. To me, the first one is great. Second
Yes.
one is good. 3, 4, and 5 are okay. That's the way I think of it. But I will watch Kate Beckinsale in almost anything she does. So She could be like she could be playing a woman covered in burlap sacks flopping to a field, hoeing, dragging a wagon. I'd watch it. So
Wow.
So you're a
So
fan.
this, I did watch a little bit of the trailer for this mini series from
is that what
2020.
they call it? Being a fan? Is that what they call
That's
that?
the kindest word.
A little bit.
It's got a
Just
really-
smidge. I mean,
it's got a
fan is
really-
short for fanatic.
It's got a really weird scene of a bunch of nuns pulling stakes out from under their robes. I don't know. It's a little weird.
Well, you said it was
Oh,
weird,
we-
so I have to clarify.
know-
Do you mean wooden stakes or do you mean like
scissoring
ribeyes?
going on with them nuns? We know there is.
You want an underrated vampire film that I will tell you the title of, and you will say that can't possibly be good?
Mhm.
Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter.
I had fun with that one actually. I
I
liked
haven't
it.
read. I haven't watched it, but I've heard good things about it.
Oh, the Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. That movie
That
was
was good, too,
actually a good movie compared to what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
Right.
But Jesus Christ, when Jesus has the fight with the atheist, the kung fu fight, I died. I just died. I had to watch it 4 times. It was so good. It was like-
Yes.
and then in the middle of nowhere, when he gets, I won't spoil, but he gets help from the one person in the world who can help him. You know, if you know what I'm talking about. Oh, man.
Well, I had a good time tonight, guys. I'm glad y'all could show up and spend your Halloween evening.
I have
pleasure.
recommendations for people
Okay.
who want vampire and stuff.
Mhm.
As far as Dracula goes, Marvel's 1970s Dracula series, Tomb of Dracula. If you want to get an old comic book, they're probably dirt cheap. Go for it. They're really good.
Okay.
There in the 80s, there's some Dracula verse miniseries. Marvel really powered up Dracula to the point where he was like a top tier villain, you know.
Yeah.
And then there's a sort of Brian Lumley is a horror writer, and he sort of crossed over vampires with H.P. Lovecraft with his Necroscope series. And the original Necroscope books, not when he returned to it years later with the new Necroscope, it's like a Lovecraftian take on vampires. It's one of the best modern Lovecraftian stories you'll get. I think it's like 8 books or whatever. It's like psychic powers and espionage and all sorts of crazy stuff, but it's really good. So.
Hmm.
If you're into like Warhammer, the tabletop fantasy, there's a lot of vampire stuff that goes with that too. There's some books out.
Yeah.
If you go to the
Yeah.
Black Library, which is kind of their books about that universe, there's one about a female vampire that like she has adventures and stuff. There's another one about like the counts that are there. They have a whole area called Sylvania that's like Transylvania basically, and how they, the armies of the dead and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool if you're into that kind of thing.
Basically,
like
you
the
should play
universe.
Dungeons and Dragons because it's amazing.
All right.
Any other recommendations, people?
Nope.
Stay
Okay.
hydrated.
Yep.
Don't be
Don't-
like me
don't
and run out of
especially-
rum.
Yeah,
Fresh?
don't feed Mogwai after midnight. You know.
Yep.
Like,
Stay hydrated, especially if you're
Yeah.
looking at a lot of Henry Cavill pics.
And
Henry
if you're looking at a
Cavill
lot
pics.
of Henry Cavill pictures,
Oh,
make sure you stay hydrated and take a few minutes to stretch every once in a while.
You know what the worst part of that is that my Twitter started blowing up just as I was going to go pick up children. So I'm just like I'm standing there just waiting to pick up the kids, and I'm just like, oh, this onesie that I'm wearing is just sealing in so many juices right now. Oh goodness
Oh.
gracious. Yeah. Damn you,
Wait,
Gourd.
you wore
damn
that
you.
thing out in public?
Wait, what thing out in public?
The onesie.
Which onesie?
The one that you were just talking about.
Yes, I did. Well, the one I posted, I think, in one of the
Wait, how
chats
many
that we're all in.
different onesies do you have?
I have 4 onesies.
Okay.
wait, you guys don't have onesies?
No.
Wait,
No.
I'm an
It's a
adult.
very freeing experience.
I haven't
Get
had
it?
one. Wait,
Yeah,
do they have
sure.
feet?
No, mine don't have feet. I'm too
Oh.
tall for those ones.
Well, they're
so.
not real onesies then.
But they're perfect for Canadian winters. So to be fair, it's a good investment on that part.
Okay.
Wait, are we talking like long johns?
No, like actual onesies,
Well,
like what babies wear.
Long johns
Yeah.
that you wear on the outside.
I guess, but less form-fitting and cuter.
If I see a man in a onesie, I'm gonna probably chuck him off the stairs like Dracula did Renfield.
Right. Vex can get away with it.
Yeah, if a
And
woman
get
does that, it's
away
like,
with
okay,
it.
it's fine. That's fine. But
Okay.
I see a guy walking around in a onesie who's above the age of 5, I'd be like, okay, we got a problem.
I used to have a pair of
First, how did
one-piece
you get in my house?
long johns. Is that a onesie?
When
The
I
ones
was
behind with the flaps in the back.
When
Yeah.
I was like 3 years old and my mom was putting one of those onesies on me to go to bed, she zipped up way too fast and hurt me. I punched her so hard, I actually knocked her out as a 3-year-old. And my grandmother told my mother, "You deserved it."
You mean like something about Mary kind of hurt you?
I don't know.
Like
I
the,
mean,
we got a
something got caught in it that shouldn't have got caught.
Yeah,
in
that's what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
a 3-year-old, and I just went like a kung fu punch right to off the temple, and she was out for a couple minutes. And my grandma, when she woke up, she was like, "You deserve that." It's like,
There's a possum on the porch. One of the children of the night is on the porch.
The
Possum.
children of the night are
Well,
on the
if you
side of
see
the road in
2
Arkansas.
armadillos and a raccoon show up, you know you're in trouble.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And a giant rubber bat.
Yes. There it is now.
Dracula is here with the giant rubber bat.
Well, this has
Well,
for sure been a fun stream.
Yeah, this has been a fun stream.
That was fun.
Glad y'all could.
Always fun
Come
when you
on.
have the Scissor family brought into a stream.
Yes.
Happy Halloween, everyone out there.
Happy
Yeah,
Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Does
Yeah.
anybody have anything they want to shout out? Shieldwall?
All right, on Thursday, I'm going to be on Rome of the Empire's show at 5 Pacific, and we're going to be doing a just standard covering the news. He calls it free range. So we'll be going over some news articles and things like that, and talking about like Henry Cavill and what movies he'd be good in,
I know, right, Vex?
things like that.
Hold on,
Yeah.
are you serious?
Yes, we are.
I'm
gonna be talking about Henry-
imagining so. I mean,
What time is this?
7
Five.
p.m. Central.
although you'll probably have seen all the pictures by then.
No.
So,
I'll hold on. Whose channel is this on?
Roman!
Roman.
Roman's channel.
You're telling me Roman's going to talk about Henry Cavill?
Maybe if I get him to.
You didn't invite me to that? I'm disappointed now.
Well,
Oh,
that's because I just decided that's what we're going to talk about.
okay.
but,
All right. I'm
I'll bring
going
it
to
up.
show up then, and I'm going to be there wearing my Henry Cavill T-shirt as well.
All right.
You
yeah.
have one? I don't have one. I want one though.
Oh, it just says that my ideal weight is Henry Cavill on top of me. That's all it is.
Anyway, so we're gonna be having that show on Thursday at 5 Pacific, so it'll be a good time. And then and then I guess whatever we're doing next week on this channel, if Jacob
Oh yeah.
would like to have me on, I would be honored to
I
be
think
on.
you
Well,
are.
he-
You are
he
on.
posted
You
a
are
bunch of
on
stuff.
next
I still
week.
haven't gotten back to you about what days are available.
So, actually, you know what? Hold on, let me check something real quick. That's next month. Boom. Wait, what? No. There we go. Ooh, I might have an appointment not next week, but the week after. So I'll let you know. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about that now. Anyway, thanks for having me on the show. It's been great.
Yeah.
And thanks to the chat. You guys have been awesome. Lots of good info and funny stuff in there.
And Van Matzing, what do you have coming up?
My review of the novel Frankenstein has been up all day, so if anyone wants
Pinnacle.
to give a quick listen to that.
I've
What
got
else?
it bookmarked.
I'll be on Roman's show on this Thursday with the potpourri, I guess, or whatever Roman's calling it. And then next week on Roman's show, which I should be on, we're doing one of my 2 all-time favorite
yes.
movies, Highlander.
Oh,
Nice.
I could
Another.
talk about
Speaking of things that are getting remade with Henry Cavill,
not just Henry Cavill,
Mhm.
the guys who did John Wick. So
Yep.
there's great hopes now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Cavill is a purist, and these guys do great stuff. So there's
Yep.
great hope. for this now.
that guy's also
actually kinda
adapting
looking
Ghost of
forward to that one.
Tsushima, which I'm excited about.
And they said,
Really?
Yeah.
they said very
Cool.
clearly we're aiming to do a trilogy and just that. Like they're not going to franchise it off into destroy it like 17 TV shows or whatever. So
Yeah.
Nice.
That sounds
beyond some other stuff from Jacob. Next week, I had to make up my calendar. I don't know what I know. It's enough where I don't remember the days. And then I will finally force myself to do my review of episode 8 of Wheel of Prime. It will be out, even because it's going to be longer because of how disgusted I was with that episode. I guess it'll get me to be disgusted with Rings of Prime in 2 months. So there we go.
Nice.
Mando.
I'm gonna be on with Roman as well. And then my next stream, I will not be doing Literary Souls. I know I haven't been doing it most of this month because this month has just been crazy. Like in IRL time. And then on Monday, I am doing my Dungeons and Dragons kick stream. So so you'll see me on Roman's channel, and then again on my kick stream playing some Dungeons and Dragons, where I'm actually a captain of a pirate ship. So I'm being authentic to myself right now. So
Arg. Cool. Vex, what do you got coming?
There's a lot. I'm on 12 different streams and shows this week. So after this, I'm hopping on Horror Amarada's channel because she's doing a 12-hour Halloween stream. So I'm just going to pop in there before I go to bed. But you guys are my 6th show this week so far. And we're on Tuesday. So
We appreciate you being here.
I know
thanks for being here.
when you said Dracula, I was like, oh, fuck oh shit. Fuck! Screw everyone else. I'm showing up for Dracula.
Yeah. Well, all Vex does is just sleep and stream.
Pretty much, yeah.
Sleep, stream, and swear.
yeah.
The 3
And
S's,
scissor.
right? 4 S's.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was pretty pumped for this when I think you scheduled it almost a month ago now. So but yeah, just follow me on Twitter at Vex Electronica, and I also put out where I'm going to be during the week on my primary YouTube channel at Vex Electronica. But thank you for having me on. It was good to be back. I'm very glad that my work schedule changed because now I can be here. And it was good to see all of you again as well.
Hear that,
Wow.
people? Vex puts out her schedule.
Yes.
Yeah, every Sunday I put out my schedule.
See, I try and do that, but then like I forget like 5 different things. I'm like,
Oh, that's what the Google Calendar is for. Every time someone asks me to be on a show, I put it into my calendar.
Cool. How's the
Yeah.
format change going? I know you said something about changing up your format. while
I
back.
don't know. When the Marvels comes out, we'll know.
All right.
'Cause that's the next video I have planned. So
Cool.
I'm hoping that will be a transition video, not in the bad way, in the good kind of way.
Well, you can
Cool.
always detransition if you don't like it.
I read something really horrifying about someone who transitioned and now in old age they have dementia and they don't realize that they transitioned partway through their life. So they keep
Ooh.
wondering, they're a
Hey.
male to female. So they keep wondering why they have tits, even though they're a man because of the dementia.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Something to ponder about when people tell you, oh, it's their true identity. Apparently memory loss doesn't do fuck all
Doesn't
of that.
care
So,
about
apparently-
that.
yeah.
Apparently, the thousands of people detransitioning, getting ready to sue,
Mhm.
disagree.
Yep.
Yep. Will Gourd King. what
Hi.
do you got?
Well, I also will be on Roman's free range show this Thursday. Shieldwall, I think, covered that one pretty good. Yeah, that'll be my first time on his show. I'm currently starting my script for Rings of Power episode 2. And obviously I had my Ghostbusters video come out last Wednesday, which is actually doing really, really well. Speaking of changing formats, my format change has been quite fruitful for those 2 videos that I've put out.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm 5 subs away from 700.
Yeah.
You're good at it.
I've
do a good
netted
job.
more subs off of those 2 videos than anything else I had put out, including things that had more views.
Bet if you gave away pumpkin pie, you might get a few more.
I don't sell my people out. I haven't been king long enough to do that.
Cool.
And
Well-
if I can get my internet working, my gaming stream will hopefully be back up tomorrow.
Oh no. Is that why you kind of sound a little bit off today?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
What kind of games are you streaming?
For Halloween season, I've been streaming the Resident Evil games. I was trying to start Resident Evil 4 remake yesterday, but my internet's been pretty horrible the last week, which probably was because even though my internet service provider doesn't say that there's an upload cap, I had to upload my Ghostbusters video like 5 different times because it kept on getting struck for copyright.
Oh.
And ever since then, my upload speed has been completely drained, like down to like 1 Mbps. So
That's wild.
If you
Yeah.
want a tip for that, upload it to like a Google Drive or something like that. So you just transfer it online from Google to YouTube type of thing.
I will keep that in mind. I will do that. But and then starting November 7th, I will be starting the Mass Effect trilogy.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
For
awesome.
only like the 13th or 14th time, but you know, it's my
But you
favorite.
haven't streamed it though, right?
I haven't streamed it before, so it's
Yeah,
the first
there
time
you go.
streaming it
It's
on
always
in 7 day.
Yep. Show the kiddies what a good game looks like.
Heck yeah.
Cool. Well, Thursday I will be on Nerdporial's channel, one of his Chillporial streams, and Saturday, I don't know if I'm gonna have anything Saturday. Nobody likes John Ford for some reason.
What?
Yeah.
What movies has John Ford done? Sorry, the name doesn't sound.
He's famous for a lot of old westerns like
He's old,
Stagecoach.
John Ford.
bunch of
I've
John-
seen. Well, okay,
Yes,
here
John
you
Ford.
go. The John Ford movies, The Quiet Man, one of the greatest films of all time. If you don't get anyone, Jacob, you can get me for that. You know, The
Okay.
Searchers. I remember that movie.
bunch of John Wayne movies.
Yeah,
I guess
I'm
I
a
don't-
John
I
Wayne
don't
fan.
recognize-
So
yeah, I don't recognize the director, but I recognize the stars for
He
what.
did
Man Who
the
Shot Liberty
he did the
Valance.
Cavalry trilogy, right?
I
She
think
wore
so.
a yellow ribbon,
yeah.
Fort Apache, and Rio Bravo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be the kind of stream I would be on if I didn't work Saturdays, but
Yeah, I mean, I've seen every John Wayne film. I'm a John Wayne fan, obviously. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Me too.
so if I can come on for that purposes, like of talking about it, but I don't know as much about him and his stuff as I do like a lot all the other stuff I know a lot about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd be more like we talking about John Wayne than about John Ford. You know, so it's like,
Yeah. It's actually surprising how many movies he's done. And what
yeah,
movies
I'm
he's
just
done.
scrolling over the list right now to try to see if there's anything else I've seen that's not a John Wayne film. You know,
I think he did Midway.
well, he did.
They Were Expendable, which is one of my favorites.
Okay, so yeah, the Battle of
World War II movie.
Yep, Midway. I could talk about. I remember that movie. It's a great movie. What else? Fort Apache. I kind of remember that one.
She
That's
Wore a
John
Yellow
Wayne
Ribbon
film.
is
Yeah,
one of
John
my
Wayne
favorite
movie, though.
westerns of all time. It's really good.
Yeah, it is. And
he
next,
did 7 Women, but that's a movie title.
Oh, here we
next
go.
Tuesday.
Mr. Roberts. There we go. So you got me. A non-John Wayne film. I could
Is
talk
that
about.
who's the lead actor in that one?
Henry Fonda?
Yeah, right. Okay.
And next Tuesday, I'll be doing the 1992 Stargate movie.
Oh, hell yeah, I'll be on that one.
Yes.
That's a fun
I think
one.
I
think
should
Matt's
be able to
gonna-
also be on that one.
Okay.
That's that one touches off a really good series TV.
It does. It
TV
does.
series. Yeah.
And that's all I got. Oh yeah, and I will be on the Highlander stream too on Roman's channel.
Yep.
So
Awesome.
that'll be a good one. That'll be fun. Well, thank y'all for being here and
Thank
talking
you.
about this good movie. Thanks to the chat for hanging with us, and we will see y'all in November.
Yep. Have a
Bye,
good one.
Bye, everybody.
chat.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Yep. Enjoy that